You know, I don't know what's worse. Being the parent of a missing child and going through an entire life not knowing what horrible thing might have happened to that child who is missing, what they suffered, what that child suffered, who the guilty person was. I don't know if that's worse or actually finally being able to confront the person responsible for the abduction and murder of your child, and having to own up to and confront the truth for the rest of your life regarding that situation that occurred to your child. I don't know what's worse, knowing or not knowing. I can't imagine. But what's going on in this case and what's gone on for the past 2 decades, since that fateful night on May the 3rd, 2007, I can only say that it is every child's worst nightmare. Every family's worst nightmare, every police department's worst nightmare, and most of all, the guilty person. They have to relive that horrible nightmare over and over again, no matter how much satisfaction or pleasure they may get out of it. It always will haunt the guilty person for the rest of that person's life. So I don't know what's worse. Welcome to my channel. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and to another episode of Missing Kids. I'm just about to try, I believe it's my first time, a mocha latte, and I just love the flavor and taste of mocha latte. I've had mocha lattes at other coffee establishments, but never at Tim Hortons, so here it goes. That's pretty good. So today we are reviewing again the Maddie McCann case, and we are going to be reviewing possible new evidence regarding the disappearance of little Madeleine McCann in 2007. As you know, we have been spending some time reviewing the cold case of the British Madeleine McCann, toddler who vanished over 2 decades ago in Praia da Luz, Portugal, when she was just 3 years old. I have also shed some light on other cases perhaps related to the prime suspect in this case, and I still follow his ongoing trial for other unrelated offenses. Last spring, when other police departments from across the world began to become involved in a new investigation regarding the disappearance of little Madeleine McCann, a new approach was taken in the search for new evidence regarding her disappearance, with respect to the prime suspect and where exactly he might have been around the time that she vanished. And guys, yes, I hope that my pleas early last year did influence decisions to reinvestigate in a different way, in a fresh and new perspective, something that I could never have come up with, but only experienced and dedicated professionals and officials could have carried out. This past week, a court in Germany heard that the prime suspect allegedly attempted to delete a massive amount of emails showing filmed abuse of children as young as 3 or 4. This really saddens me. Stamper, a detective, described an email written by the prime suspect, which detailed a kind of fictional fantasy about a 5-year-old girl and her mother who are, in the story, kidnapped and taken away in a van before they are horrifically abused. This fantasy story, which sickens me, is completely about violence and brutality against both victims, who, of course, naturally were just probably very good and innocent souls. I mean, how guilty and evil can a 5-year-old little girl be? And the mother, of course, she played such a passive role in this horrific tragedy. I just don't understand the pleasure, but I'm not going to go there. I'm just going to lay out the facts, and it's the most horrific part of this story is that the mother and child had to watch as each other were abused by their captor. That's a horrific experience to go through. And I don't have any other details about this so-called story. This is horrific to me. And I think that people who ultimately write like this and produce plays and movies like this really, okay, maybe it makes money, but I don't see why or how. I find the whole thing horrific. Guess what, guys? A copy of that fantasy story was found in Portugal in 2017 on a laptop that had been used by the prime suspect, the court heard recently. And so the prime suspect was officially right then named a suspect in the Madeleine McCann case in 2022. So a few years did go by before he was finally declared an official suspect. And I have to add that in 2022, after his yellow and white camper van was spotted near the Praia da Luz resort in Portugal, where Mari vanished, he was then also declared a prime suspect. Yummy. However, the prime suspect continues to deny that he was ever in the area at that time, and he basically shielded himself and distanced himself from allegations against him in this respect. German prosecutors say that phone logs do show that he received a call on May the 3rd, 2007, near the Ocean Club around the time that Maddie vanished. However, I want to stop here and remind you once again that at the time, guys, in 27, he worked at Ocean Club. I'm not trying to defend him. I'm just stating a fact. He worked there as a handyman, and so his presence there, day or night, would not have really drawn a lot of suspicion at the time. But that phone call really, indeed, is very suspicious. And so even though that phone call was made from his phone around the time that Maddie vanished, the prime suspect claims that he was rather miles and miles away from that location and in the presence of a young woman at the time who he considered a girlfriend. Now, the prime suspect also faces allegations that he called his ex-girlfriend on May the 3rd, 2007, to say that he had been in Tomar, a spot where he regularly parked his camper van. And so last May, detectives announced that they would search a reservoir near Silves in Portugal that Bruckner referred to as a little paradise. And I remember briefing you on that search. And even though we were not clear on what evidence was found, a good deal of evidence was collected. We don't know what it was or if it contained anything digital. We're not altogether too clear on that. So, yeah, that dam was very thoroughly searched, and I believe it hadn't been the first time either. In fact, this was the first major operation of this particular kind since a previous dig in Praia da Luz in 2014. And so since then, the case in Germany has seen testimony from past partners and new pleas for investigation into the prime suspect's past hangouts. And so that would be about 20 years on since Maddie vanished. That's a long time. It's also a very long time to begin an investigation. And I believe the main reason is that he was never suspected previously until all of these other allegations regarding different people, namely children and women, began to surface. And let's not forget, he's already done time for child abuse and attempted murder of 2 women, 1 woman at least, and he's very strongly suspected of another attack against a different woman. So he kept himself pretty busy by the looks of it. A former girlfriend of the prime suspect previously claimed that detectives in the Maddie McCann case, Portuguese detectives, had still not searched her home despite revelations that he called her on the night that she disappeared. So I don't know exactly what that was all about and why it was not followed up on. I'm not sure why he was cleared by police. I have no idea what was going on. Now, this friend said that on the night of May the 3rd, 2007, the prime suspect called her to say he was going to drive to her house in Portugal and that she did not know if he had arrived there. So obviously she wasn't at her house when he called her. I'm kind of trying to figure out the real context. And so she didn't know if he had arrived. And it was revealed that the woman's father, and I think it's the same woman that we spoke about around Christmas time, of last year. And she revealed that her father and German prosecutors had urged police to investigate the compound near Praia da Luz in 2022, but they had never really arrived. So for the time being, that's about all I have for you right now. I have another little review coming your way regarding the ongoing trial itself, but I thought I would want to throw this out at you first, since it's actually the only real lead. The deleted emails, they are the only real leads that we have had since the vanishing of Madeleine McCann. We've had other leads that have led to absolutely nothing, and I strongly suspect that if indeed the prime suspect does have a talent for writing, I don't want to criminalize writing, but I have a feeling that it was either him or other culprits who manipulated newspapers and police with letters and phone calls regarding evidence, just to throw people off the track. And you know what, guys? I'm still waiting for that clue about the car rental. I think I hit the nail on the head when I claimed that I thought whoever had Maddie brought her back there when the McCanns went to Rome, and they brought her back to Praia da Luz at the resort and stuck her in the same trunk where that the McCanns had her. And I think it was all done deliberately. They gained access to the rental car to make the McCanns look guilty. I'm still waiting for a story, a theory, a real factual side to come out regarding that car rental, because I'm sure the police were misled. I don't know what's going on, but that is a really important clue, and I don't think that we should ignore it. I think deep down, if we can find out precisely why Maddie's DNA was found in that trunk or in the apartment after investigators went through it, I think that we can really figure out who actually did this. And so far, there hasn't been much going on with that side of the story, but I am so curious to find out what exactly was going on with that rented car. So, guys, that's about all that I have for you today. This trial progressed as recently as Tuesday, and I would imagine that more is going to be coming out regarding Maddie's case and the cases that are unrelated to her, but similarly related, if you know what I mean. So stay tuned, stick around, and I'll be uploading another review regarding the prime suspect very soon. I hope that you enjoyed this. So thank you so much for listening and watching. And I really do hope that you have, found this useful and helpful and enjoyable. And so stick around for more. Please subscribe.